Hey everybody, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country right here on Fish Creek Radio. A couple years ago, as I was doing interviews with people like Helen Cornelius and Jim Ed Brown and T. Graham Brown, they were all mentioning this guest that I have on the show tonight, and they said, man, he is really going places. We like him a lot. You need to get him on the show. So I got a hold of him, and I thought, man, I better get him on the show before he gets so big he won't want to be on my little radio show. And so I did. And we had a fantastic talk. And since then, I've been playing his music and watching him on Country's Family Reunion, the Grand Ole Opry, all these great TV shows, Larry's Country Diner. And he has a brand new album out on Curb Records. And he's just making his mark in country music, and I'm so glad. And he was nice enough to come back on and talk to us again tonight. And it's a privilege to have him back on the show. Please welcome Mo Pitney to My Kind of Country. Mo, how are you?
How are you? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's really nice of you to take time to come back on and talk to me again. I appreciate that.
Oh, it's great. Great.
Well, I'm very excited about your new album, and I've had a chance to listen to it several times. I absolutely love what you're doing, and it's traditional country that's, it's got a little bit of an edge to it, so I think it really fits into, what they call the new country market, as well as the traditional country. People are going to like it, too.
Oh, good. Well, that was somewhat of the goal.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Now, you you wrote or co-wrote all but two of the songs on this album. Is that right?
That is correct. Behind This Guitar and Give Me Jesus were the two that I was not a part of writing.
Well, I was very impressed to see that you finished out your album with a gospel song. Tell me about that one.
That is just my life. I tell people that, and this is just a true story, I actually came to Christ halfway through the record. I grew up in church, but I didn't know him. And my statement that I wanted to kind of say with that, the first time I heard that song was Fernando Ortega's recording of it, and it just blew me away, the simplicity of the song. And the first part of the album is just singing about all the temporal things that we go through in this world, all the heartbreaks, the ups and downs, the love, the hurt that we go through here. And I wanted to make a statement at the end of the album that really just says that if I had to trade any of the stuff that I have sang about at the first part of the album, if I had to trade anything I can see with my eyes for the one I can't see with my eyes, I'd trade it all. Give me Jesus, and that's really what it's all about.
Amen, brother. Absolutely. Well, you had a couple pretty powerful hitters that co-wrote the song Country with you. That's Mr. Bill Anderson and Bobby Tomberlin. And I had Bill on the show a while back, and he actually mentioned how proud he was of that song. What was it like writing with those guys?
Oh, it was just great. Bobby's actually the one that got us hooked up. We just had a really cool day. Bill got there, and we just started talking about country music and what we loved about it. And what it meant to us. And about 3 o'clock, Bobby stopped us and said, why don't we just write a song about everything we just talked about and call it country? And we did, and it's had a nice little life, and God kind of opened the door for us at radio, and I'm just very thankful for it.
That's amazing. And folks, the album is called Behind This Guitar. It's brand new. It's just been released on Curb Records, and you can pick it up at mopitney.com, and all of Mo's social media outlets are listed there, and you can follow him on Facebook and Twitter and all those great places. Amazon and iTunes also have the album available there, and of course it's fantastic country music. And I want to also thank Michael and Pete from Dreamcatcher Management. Those guys are just great. I'll tell you what, when I contacted them, they got right back a hold of me, and I'll tell you, you've got some great people behind you, Mo.
Oh, good. Glad to know it. Glad to know it. I know they're great. I love to hear it when other people have said they've been treated well by them.
Well, you've had some pretty significant breaks in the country music business. It usually takes a lot longer for somebody to get a record deal with a major label. How did that all come about for you?
I used to play bluegrass music, and I traveled and did a lot of that, and I had someone called, his name was Billy Lawson, actually invited me down to write some songs, and we came and wrote a few songs, and within a week, Universal offered us a record deal when we were actually just in the studio recording some of the brand new songs we'd written. And that deal didn't last very long. There were some just behind-the-scenes things, and I just don't think I was totally ready to record yet. And it wasn't long after that I really started to learn more who I was, and Curb Records offered me a deal, and it's just been a wonderful ride since then.
That's great. Well, we even, of course, have been playing quite a few of the songs that have been out for a little while that people have been able to hear. You know, Clean Up on Aisle 5, and It's Just a Dog, and Boy and Girl Thing. And one song that's near and dear to my heart, and I understand you got to open some shows and actually get to work with this gentleman. I met Merle Haggard today.
Oh, yeah. I got to open one show for him, which was just amazing. And actually, the song is a true story. I got to write it with Don Sampson, and I told him about my day, 2/4/2013, and we ended up just writing the day exactly how it went.
Did Merle get to hear the song?
I think he did, actually, within like a few hours of us writing it. I wrote it to the guy that invited me to North Star Studios, and he got it to the bus driver, and I think they played it on the bus right away. And I don't know if I can say that positively, but I was told that happened.
Oh, that's cool. Now, you met him at it was at the Marty Stewart show. He was doing a taping there, is that right?
Yep. And it was a very brief meeting, and it made my day mighty special, and so we wrote about it. But like I said, all he said, as you can hear in the song, was "Pleasure to meet you, Mo," and he strolled on down to the stage.
You know, I was blessed to get to meet and visit with Merle many times, and he was on my show twice. In fact, I interviewed him not too long before he passed away. And last September, my son and I got to spend an afternoon with him at a concert. And you know, Merle he's such a nice guy, and he's so easy to talk to, and he doesn't make any bones about, you know, being a big star or anything like that. He's just a normal guy. But I got to tell you, man, it's every time I'm in his presence, it's a pretty humbling experience.
Yeah, he had a presence about him, and he was just really down to earth and serious, and studied conversation and people as best as I can understand. I wasn't around him a whole lot, but stories that I've heard of him just seem to be that way, and just a lot of people respected him, I know.
Amen to that. Well, you did a fantastic job on the Country's Family Reunion tribute show that they did to Merle. You did my all-time favorite Merle Haggard song, and that's "The Farmer's Daughter."
Yeah, a song about a father's love. I absolutely love that song.
Did you get to pick that one, or did they pick it for you?
I sure did get to pick that again. I don't even know that I was really hoping to do was on there, and I kind of begged them to let me do that one, and they did. So.
Now, Mo, you've done a lot of great country classics on, you know, different TV shows. You know, of course, The Farmer's Daughter and Borrowed Angel, and Don't You Ever Get Tired of Hurting Me. And you got the voice for it. Have you thought about doing a country classics album at all?
You know, I would love to. I've always thought that I'd love to, just because I love the old classic songs. Recently, I've been really looking forward and loving writing and trying to create something new with maybe an old hint to it, or tip of the hat back to the old stuff. So it might be down the road before I get in the right frame of mind to really do something that goes back in time.
Well, there's a lot of those whole great session player musicians that are still making music. I bet they would love to do an album with you.
Well, I'd love to do an album with them.
Well, tell me, one of the songs that really grabs me on this new album is "Everywhere." Tell me about that song.
That's a song I actually got to write with Dean Dillon and Phil O'Donnell in Canada. We actually, I don't tell everybody this full story behind it, but we were actually stepping up from a Bible study in Canada. We would study the Bible every morning before we'd write and fish. And we stood up from one of the Bible studies, and Dean told Phil and I, he says, "Boys, let's write us a song about God, but let's make it vague, where people don't know if we're singing about God or a girl or somebody that's gone or what." But he says, "We know who we'll be singing to." And that's actually the way we wrote it. So I think a lot of people interpret it a lot of different ways. But if people want to know who I'm singing to, it's to Christ.
That's a great song. Are you going to put that out as a single?
It's actually going to be the next single, yeah.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Well,
Just finished the music video on it. We're getting ready to get that out and everything, so we're excited about that.
oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Fantastic. So, as you, I like to listen to albums in their entirety. A lot of people, they download songs and, listen to separate songs. But as I listen to this album in its entirety, it's you've got great bookends. You've got the opening song of Country, and then you've got Give Me Jesus at the end, and you got this great little journey going in the middle of it. What are some of the songs that really stand out in your mind that were especially, had special meaning to you besides the ones we talked about already?
Behind This Guitar was really, really a big part of the album for me. And it was one of the songs that, like I said, didn't have a part in writing, but it kind of explained, kind of put a common thread throughout the whole album, because it just put boots on really who I am and what I believe and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's a main one for me. Clean Up on Aisle 5, I love that song. But I think one of my favorite recordings, apart from Give Me Jesus, I think was Take the Chance, which is actually the first song that I wrote with Dean Dillon, which is just the recording of that song and writing of that song is one of the most artistic things I think I've ever got to experience with another group of guys.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, I just really love that song, and it's just got a really simple message, but the movement of it is just something that I've never really heard before. It doesn't really reminisce anything else that I can think of, and it just seems like it's its own thing.
Mm-hmm. Are you surprised at the reception of the album so far?
Yeah, really, really. And I think the label is too. Our plan was just to get it out and just hope to see a slow growth, but I think a lot of people are really drawn to it, and it hasn't been, world changing, but it's blown me away. I just made it to make great music, and just to kind of record my thoughts and do what I love, and just to see so many other people enjoying it really blows me away.
Well, I think that's probably a big reason why, right there, is that you're writing and recording your own music, and you're doing it for all the right reasons, and it shows through in the songs that you did on this album.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So, are you? I'm sure you got a lot of tour dates lined up, and what's on the horizon as you promote this album?
Yeah, we've got. We're not on a tour, but we've got a lot of dates that you can look up on the website and things like that. That we're just really excited about, and we were doing a lot of radio stuff, just kind of set up this next single, hoping to get this next single to a point where we might pick up on someone else's tour. I think that's the next step, just in the career, and just really looking forward to that.
Well, there's a lot of big names that really like what you're doing, and they support you, so I know you've got a lot of people behind you that are really pushing for big things.
Oh, well, that's wonderful, because we love doing it.
And I understand, congratulations are in order. You are a newlywed, and you've also got a little baby on the way, right?
Yeah, she's kicking away in there, named Eveline, and we just can't wait to see her face.
Oh,
February 4th.
February 4th. That's real close to my daughter's is February 1st, so that's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. Now, your sister, she appeared with you on Larry's Country Diner, and you guys did Don't Touch Me. She's a beautiful singer, too. Is she doing anything in the music business at all?
Well, she's been traveling with me a bunch, and, I'm kind of wanting to hide the secret because I might lose one of the best harmony singers that I've ever sung with. She really deserves to have a record deal, and I think that there's people that are from a distance watching her and just seeing if she starts writing. She's been doing a little writing and things like that, but I don't know how much she wants to do it or not, but I guess we'll see.
Well, I know the last time you and I talked that you come from a musical background. Your dad was active in music, and it sounds like there's a lot of music in your family.
Yeah, my dad, steel guitar player, banjo player. My brother plays bass for us. He sings. Our sister obviously sings and plays guitar. My mom's a writer. My grandparents, Southern Gospel Quartet. My grandparents on the other side, she was a pianist. And, before that, there were people singing and playing as long as I can see in our family tree. And I pretty much had to catch it.
That's fantastic. Well, again, folks, it's Behind This Guitar, the brand new album from Mo Pitney. You can go to mopitney.com, pick up the new album there, and check out Mo's tour dates and read all about his career. And Amazon and iTunes, of course, have the album, and I highly encourage you to pick it up because we're going to be playing it a lot on our show, too. And Mo, I want to thank you again for taking the time to come back and visit with me here at My Kind of Country.
Oh, it was a great time. Thank you for having me.
All right. We're going to play the song we were just talking about. It's going to be the new single, Everywhere. This is from Mo Pitney's latest album, brand new album, Behind This Guitar, as we continue with My Kind of Country here on Fish Creek Radio. Mo Pitney, thank you again.